Men have always yearned for role models and father figures and leaders who offer safe havens where all the trouble seemed to end. The belongingness to these figures are mere sources of purpose and meaning to our lives. When we are young, we are often puzzled by the fact that each person we admire has a different version of life than ours. This fact mesmerizes us, and we get on to feel the same version of life. The one with the deepest voice, the strongest appearance, authority, success, and a strong story to tell is the one who gets our momentary allegiance. In search of freedom, we enslave ourselves. There is something very ironic about Tyler Durden's followers in the film Fight Club. Imagine n number of men drawn towards Tyler for his independent thoughts and carefree attitude, which is derived from his self-realization. And these men end up following blindly and end up becoming space monkeys. If we take a closer look at today's man, he is in desperate need to break free from the known and the normal. He wants to become his own man. Like never before, the man today wants to break all shackles of any dogma, culture, behavior, and any mental conditioning. But still, he ends up becoming a space monkey. It is funny and painfully ironic. The strange dichotomy of men desperately seeking enlightenment and end up ignorant and deceived. Why would you seek freedom and accept imprisonment through mental obedience? Very strange, isn't it? History is full of the folly of men who gave their allegiance to other men, be it political, religious, state, spiritual, and even entertainment leaders. The history is bleeding with this strange phenomena of men blindly following some other person's ideology and philosophy and mindset. It is only after the damage is done that they realize their blunder. Why do you think men display such behavior? Is it because the leader seems to be larger than life with immense power? Or is it because we as men tend to live a vicarious life? We follow a leader who looms biggest in our mental horizon, and we experience their actions in our imagination. Whatever the reason may be, one thing is clear. Men are drawn towards power and freedom. Men both worship and fear power, and they give their loyalty to those who dispense it. Men follow because the slavery is in their soul. Men are infatuated, enchanted, and fascinated by their leaders. And to take a closer look, we must experience the follower, which makes him so attached to an individual entity. The funny part is that all our lives we spend our time and money in developing our skills, becoming mature, consuming all the material comforts, forming relationships, having a family. But after all this, desperately seeking freedom, freedom from fear, freedom from emotions, freedom from the conditioned mind, and most of all, freedom from ourselves. And when the man finds that someone who can perform this magical heroic transformation, he submits himself to his command. They become so capable of doing anything that any sane mind would condemn. This heroic transformation is always based on a story more than a philosophy. The story itself becomes the philosophy. A philosophy without a story is incapable of holding man's interest for long. But the story manifests the man to become a hero in the bigger cause. And this is how men are so attached and even willing to stake their lives as a justification to the bigger cause, which is envisioned by their leader. The story gives a fundamental purpose and meaning to the lives of men. The perils of this kind of transformation is that it divides the society into the followers as heroes of destinies of illusion and unquestioned entitlement, and the remaining ones as the non-followers or the villains. And all this is measured by the central leader, who liberate the followers of any personal responsibility for any damages and repercussions. And in return, the men enslave their freedom and intellect to their leader. The strangest part is that while controlling and commanding the group, the leader also tends to lose his freedom to the group's expectations and how the group would like to see their leader as. If the leader feels that any thought or ideology will contradict with the group's expectations of him, he will hide it or not speak about it. Because now the leader has to act in accordance with the group. If not checked, can escalate to dangerous levels. Men admire, love, fetish their leaders and turn themselves into byproducts of an ideology or a philosophy in the garb of a story. This is something we all have done in our lives and probably still doing it, consciously or subconsciously. Not just real humans as leaders. We have all seen people around us getting mesmerized by fictional characters, most commonly, say, superheroes. We have all idolized superheroes in our lives. When we were kids, we wanted to be Batman or Superman. And this was because there was a story behind those superheroes which fascinated us immensely. As we grew and became wiser, our superheroes changed, our likings changed, and we even started liking the villains, the antagonist. Why? Why? Because if the villain is portrayed more free, more stronger, more notorious, more larger than life than the superhero, then our liking, our allegiance move towards the villain. isn't it? Just like the Joker and the Batman. We all agree that the Joker was more clear and more free than the Batman. We all know that leaders try to win a following for their ideology, their philosophy, or even their story as their patent. It becomes imperative for us to judge and analyze as to whose ideas we follow. Are these leaders trying to empower themselves or us? That is the question that you should ask yourself. Whenever you feel confused in such a situation, just ask yourself some questions. What is your philosophy? What is your truth and your lie? How is that you want to lead your life? Who should be a hero and who should be a villain? And what do you want to be? Always remember that your life will always be bigger than what any man, any ideology, any philosophy, or any book has to say about it. Safeguard your freedom and your individuality. Be critical if need be, and don't blindly accept everything. Because no man is great enough for you to be his space monkey. Always remember that.